My name's Sean Wilson. I'm an actor, a self-taught chef and a proud northerner. I've gone from Coronation Street to producing award-winning Lancashire cheese via the region's finest Michelin-starred kitchens. Northern grub is my passion, and I like to think that I know everything there is to know about it.
Go on. Yay! Oh, got a bit bonkers!
I'm going on a culinary adventure.
This is one hell of a movie.
A Great Grand Northern tour with one very tasty aim: to discover the heritage.
There you go.
These look old.
250 years old.
Well, OK.
And phenomenal flavours of the North's favourite foods.
That's one hell of a Yorkshire pudding.
My journey takes me the length and breadth of our greatest treasure, the North.
Oh my Gideon.
From Manchester to Middlesbrough, I'll be meeting the people who are keeping our traditional grub going.
Lovely pork pies here, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll also be cooking out of my comfort zone as I take on some great challenges.
You can't swing a bloody cat in here.
Tell you what, that's quite attractive from behind, Sean.
Pitting myself against the best in the business, I'll produce the North's finest fare in kitchens that would try the patience of a saint.
It's like being in bloody prison. Now, fire. A bit more than I can chew.
It's time to crack open my Great Northern Cookbook.
This is proper food with proper people, and I'm proud of it.
My next challenge begins in Crewe, a Victorian town famous for its railway junction and not a great deal else. From here, I'm going on an epic journey to the coastal town of Scarborough. Along the way, I'll be taking in breathtaking scenery as I travel across the Saddleworth Viaduct, through the Pennines and onto the Vale of York. And you're probably wondering how and why that is going to happen.
Well, it's by the power of steam, because it's all aboard the Scarborough Flyer, a beast of a train. And one thing's for sure, my guests are going to have a very healthy meal, because we all know how cooking with steam is very healthy.
The Scarborough Flyer is an antique locomotive from the 1920s. Now, normally, the only food they serve on this route is a full English, if you're in first class, and a bag of crisps from the buffet car if you're in steerage. But I want to do better than that. So, for one day only, there's going to be a 2-course hot lunch on offer, cooked from scratch by me. Though Bob, the train's breakfast chef, thinks I've bitten off more than I can chew.
Well, it is quite a difficult challenge to come on a train, an unknown kitchen. It'll get more difficult as it goes on.
Only time will tell if he's right. My challenge in all its culinary glory is to cook a gourmet meal on board for a group of distinguished guests using ingredients from the 2 northern counties we're travelling through, Cheshire and Yorkshire. And to make things even harder, I've only got the length of the journey, just 4.5 hours, to create and serve my menu. Now, normally, passengers are kicked off before lunchtime, which is why, sensibly, they don't normally serve lunch. So it might be a good thing that they're filling up on breakfast now, just in case it all goes horribly wrong.
It's an ambitious menu today. Obviously, we've got a time frame to keep in, which is a little bit worrying, because when we're there. Simple as.
In a kitchen smaller than your average flat-pack wardrobe, I'll be attempting a 2-course meal. My main is inspired by Cheshire, so I'll be using the county's finest pork loin, stuffed with black pudding and served with cauliflower in a Cheshire cheese sauce. My dessert is a fusion of both counties. I'm taking a Yorkshire classic, the curd tart, and giving it a Cheshire twist using a bit more of their famous cheese. Helping me cook up this storm is Bob, the train's usual chef, who's busy making breakfast.
It's so busy in here.
Beans, mushrooms.
It's bonkers. He's doing breakfast, I'm doing lunch. This is bonkers. There ain't much room in here, I know that.
Hold this one in the boat, but they're still good.
I'm starting my cooking marathon with the dessert, a Yorkshire Curd cheesecake. It needs hours to set before serving, so to hurry things along, I'm using gelatine. Big mistake. Huge.
There's a gelatine leaf. It's been in cold water for 5 minutes and then in warm water, and it just won't go. Bad ingredients. Does my head in.
this could end in disaster. By 8:30 my cheesecakes are ready to go in the fridge, but I've no idea if they'll set or not. And to make things worse, my diners are an illustrious bunch, including 2 Lady Mayoresses, a cookery school owner, and a local food critic.
So we have to decide which is from Cheshire and which is from Yorkshire.
Very interesting. I've got mixed feelings about it, but I'm going to wait and see how it comes.
I need to represent the county. So I thought pork, cheese, because we're doing cauliflower cheese. Can't go wrong. And hopefully we won't. I've flown by the seat of my trousers in some places, but this is ridiculous.
I'm starting to realise that a full roast dinner prepared at high speed in a tiny kitchen is a massively ambitious plan. I've got 10 minutes to stuff 10 pork loins. But I like to think I can multitask, so I'm chatting to train manager Richard while I work.
Hey, what can you tell me about this train?
Yeah, it's used for the Manchester Pullman. Manchester to London every day. Just one trip up to London and then back late at night back to Manchester with all the MPs and all the lords. Just all first class.
Well, I wouldn't have seen this, would you?
No.
What do you think your customers will think then, Richard?
I think they'll like it. Northern customers like northern food.
What, even black pudding?
Even black pudding.
I really want to impress the VIPs with my food, but at this rate, I'm worried the journey will be over before they get to eat anything.
You need to get me in the oven as soon as. Middle shelf.
This tiny kitchen is seriously slowing me down.
You can't swing a bloody cat in here.
What interests me is that 6 years ago this guy was an actor.
Yeah.
He's gone into making cheese, but can he cook? A lot of chefs spend 20, 30 years to get to the standards of this type of cooking.
Yeah. Well, I googled him last night actually, what has been done in the past, and he has spent some time working in a Michelin restaurant, so hopefully he's got a good track record there.
There's a little more than an hour to go before I have to produce my ambitious menu, and quite frankly, I've got the fear.
This is the hardest one, by far. I ain't gonna make this. No chance. It's 10 to 11. Everything's on, everything's cooking. Except the carrots. Except
The cabbage.
the cabbage. And except the cauliflower. So it's all hands to the pumps. I'm hoping that gelatine's worked. Still a bit worried about those bloody cheesecakes. So that's where we are. We're at Busyville. On the busy train to Busyland.
Earlier on, the gelatine I was using refused to dissolve, and I've got no idea if my cheesecake will ever set.
Don't worry, I'll do all these carrots. Now, fire. It's taking the
I've thrown my toys out of the pram. This challenge is so much harder than I thought.
Sean,
What, mate?
have you bitten off more than you can chew with this menu, mate? Do you reckon?
It might appear that way right now.
Will we get it out in time? Ray? Because we've got to have it for 12 o'clock now.
No.
It's got to be out for 12.
No.
We better have it out for 12 with the trouble. You better get him going. Yeah?
Well, I can't do anything now.
I know,
can
but we've got to get it out for 12 o'clock, you know what I mean? We're off
yeah.
at 1, aren't they? In Scarborough, yeah?
The pressure's on, and with just 10 minutes to go, the cooker packs up.
Light's gone out. Light's gone out. Oh, I don't know which is on and which is off. Is that off? Or is that off? That's off.
The diners are calmly waiting to be served, but back in the kitchen, the temperature's over 100 degrees.
It's red hot!
See how warm it is?
It's hot. You just wipe yourself and you're covered again.
If I get the food out on time, it'll be nothing short of a miracle.
It must be really, really hard working in such a small kitchen. When we walked past the area before and it was really hot and it looked a bit
It's all about
manic.
preparation, though, isn't it? 'Cause a small kitchen like that is what you can do beforehand, what you can get planned and then get it all set up.
Everything's so compact, you know.
Sweat was dripping.
That's it,
This is it. Meat goes out in 5 minutes. Vegetables go out in 5 minutes. They're all going to be like this. I need food. I need food. I need food.
I've got just 10 minutes to plate up all 50 meals. It's a very tall order, and even if I manage it, I'm wondering how these dignitaries will react to the food.
That'll do. I'll just put some. Hang on.
As the guests tuck in, I'm struggling to keep up with demand.
Any more carrots? 6 more people.
No, but you can. Do you want to take some cabbage?
I can take some cabbage.
The first course has successfully made it to the plate, but what's the verdict of the VIPs?
The potatoes I loved, and I loved the cauliflower cheese, but the meat for me was the top job.
Overall, the dish was bursting with flavour from that pork and the stuffing.
Yes. And I love cauliflower cheese. I think the cheese could have been a bit more piquant, is that the right word?
I'd say so, yeah. It makes you wonder, maybe like a Yorkshire Blue might have complemented it a bit better to give it a bit more of a kick or a bit of a punch in there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done well. He has done well, yes. I hope somebody mops his brow before he comes down to our rapturous applause.
But my work's not done. I've got to serve my cheesecake, which, to my horror, has refused to set. And to add to my woes, I've got to slice it and place it up whilst being buffeted along at 75 miles an hour.
2 minutes?
Bob, I want it out now!
Well, my giddy aunt. Is that it? Yeah, 2 bottles
Get it
in.
out, we've got to eat it. 20 minutes.
There's only 20 minutes left until the passengers disembark, and there's no margin for error. But my cheesecake's all over the shop, a fact which doesn't escape the diner's attention.
The presentation looks like it's been landed from the other side of the kitchen, I'm afraid.
Then things go from bad to worse.
It's quite strange, isn't it? Do you think it's gelatine? It looks like a leaf of gelatine, doesn't it? That should have dissolved into his mixture when he's made it, if he's used gelatine.
I can't believe you meant to eat that.
I've got some as well.
This is every chef's worst nightmare. Turning out a meal which people refuse to eat. My reputation's on the line, and I've got no idea what to say to make up for it.
Some of you may have found a little bits of gelatine in the...
Yes, we had the
I'm
thing.
very sorry about that. I can only apologise.
My opinion was it's just the presentation and the gelatine. The flavours were there. It was. I really enjoyed it.
The presentation was difficult because we were doing 75 miles an hour at the time.
Yeah, I said in the small confined place you've done well.
Okay, thanks very much, and I've really enjoyed it. It's the hardest workout I have ever been through. I can't tell you. I'm absolutely knackered, as they say.
It's been one of the hardest mornings of my culinary life, and I'm ready to put as much distance between me and that tiny kitchen as possible.
I've had enough of you.
Next time, wash your bloody pants.
See you then.
This time.
See you then, bye.
Bye-bye, love.
Good luck, mate.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Bon voyage.
Time to make a move, and this time it's by road and not rail. It's goodbye to Yorkshire and hello to my home county of Lancashire and the town of Bury, where I'm on a mission to revive one of my favourite northern dishes, black pudding.
It tastes gorgeous.
Now.
My challenge is to persuade 30 guests at a Blackpool B&B to rekindle their love affair with the humble blood sausage. And I'm going to do this by hijacking their breakfast and serving it up to them. Whether they like it or not, there'll be no escape. But before I hit the seaside, I want to source some puds. So I'm going to the town that's adopted black pudding as its own, Bury.
This is a town that's really taken black pudding to its heart. This is the home of the humble blood sausage. Now we're going to learn all about them, and I'm going to source some of the finest black puds known to man.
They've been making black puddings here since God were a lad. Ever since then, it's been produced according to recipes that vary little from the ones cooked in medieval times. I'm here to meet the last 2 manufacturers in town. My first appointment is with Debbie at the Bury Black Pudding Company to show me how the northern delicacy is mass-produced in the 21st century.
Black pudding's a bit like Marmite, you either love it or you hate it.
Well, I love it.
Yeah, good.
The process starts with some less than appetising ingredients: pig's blood, fat, oatmeal, and Debbie's secret mix of herbs and spices.
So I'm just looking at the consistency.
It's like a thick gravy, really.
It is.
All this formed into the trademark sausage shape we all recognise, and all to a traditional recipe.
The pudding we're making now is the pudding we made years ago, in that it's in a natural skin, it's all natural ingredients. This is all in its raw state, all in liquid form inside the skin. So they're cooked in there for 45 minutes at 85 degrees. And then we'll lift them, we'll go back down, give them a stir, and then when they come up, they'll be nice and black and shiny.
Let's have a look at
So
these then.
lift these out for you. These are just cooking away at the moment.
Fantastic. Look at those beauties. Let's go and have a look at some finished ones, shall we?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Cheers.
So that's the black pudding made, to be shipped off around the country. And I'm off as well, with some sample sausage in hand. In the last few decades, the North's fallen out of love with the blood sausage, and I want to find out why. So I'm hitting Bury Market, armed with a plate of pud. Does anyone not like black pudding?
Definitely not, honest to God.
You won't be prepared? Just smell it then.
I've no sense of smell. Not bad.
Okay, what's it taste of? Would you be prepared?
No, I'm not going to try it.
No? It tastes gorgeous.
No.
There you go. Good lad. Like your style.
I think it's just the thought of what it's made of.
What, pig's blood? Okay. So even in Bury, home to this fine sausage, people give it a wide berth. And perhaps it's not hard to see why when you think what's in it. For those that can see past the blood though, black pudding is a taste sensation. To source some more of the finest puds available, I'm visiting the city's second surviving pudding producer, Chadwick's. Tony Sincola and his family have been selling black puddings at the market for generations.
So, I need to know why we think black pudding's northern.
We're all a bit tight up north, so we like to use everything.
Speak for your bloody self.
Not what I heard. But and you use all the animals, and I think it's something northern folk do well. They have been making black puddings in the area for such a long time. Our family have been making it 150 years. I married a Chadwick for my sins, and she taught me how to make black puddings.
Did she give the secret up easily, Tony?
4 years I'd known her and worked for her. She gave me the recipe the night she went into hospital to have our daughter.
No way!
And she only told me that because she knew we'd be busy the next day.
But the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Here we go, some I prepared earlier.
Oh, my favourites. You can see the fats, you can see the barley, is it?
Yep.
Oatmeal, obviously pig's blood, and your wife's rather
Very secret.
Very secretive seasonings. Tony, that's good. Why was there a decline in black pudding eating in the 70s and 80s? Why?
I think the 70s and 80s is when people started to, novel cuisine and stuff. People are eating prawn cocktails. Black puddings were put out into a corner. We still managed in Bury, but I think now with the 5-star chefs, it really is coming back. It's become an ingredient as well as a main course.
If what Tony tells me is right, there's a glimmer of hope for me in my challenge. Posh restaurants are putting black pudding on the menu, and people are loving them. Except, my challenge isn't taking place in a Michelin-starred restaurant. So, it's time to hit the road and search out some willing, or not so willing, guinea pigs. I've got to persuade some Great Northern holidaymakers to order it again as part of their daily fry-up. So, I'm leaving Bury and I'm travelling 50-odd miles to the seaside. Famous for its pleasure beach and a pop-up organ that people travel miles to dance around. Yes, kiss me quick, we're in Blackpool. Blackpool is the home of the fry-up. Every day the town's numerous B&Bs dish up thousands of cooked brekkies, but these days they're generally served without black pud. The Rosalie, owned by Denise and Roger Gilmore, hasn't served it since 1984. My mission is to show its guests exactly what they've been missing. Today's nearly impossible challenge is to serve 30 guests, at least 30 guests, with a full breakfast with black pudding before 9 o'clock. And Denise and I are going to make breakfast for everybody, maybe the best breakfast they have ever tasted. Is that right, Denise?
That's correct.
In just 55 minutes, I intend to knock up a stellar English that's going to convince the paying guests that black pudding is a must. How do you think it will go down?
Excellent.
Do you?
Yeah.
I admire Denise's optimism, but it's not down to her, it's down to the guests. They're all heading to the breakfast room, and I'm ready to plate up.
Well, you've done your sausages, well done.
I like it and bloody lump it. We're in Blackpool. Like it or not, everyone is getting black pudding. The question is, Will they eat it?
A full breakfast with no tomatoes.
It's not long before I have my answer, because as quickly as I'm sending them out, it's coming back. I'm back. And back. I'm speechless. I can't believe that most of them didn't like it, and I want to find out why.
What was wrong with the black pudding?
Nobody liked it.
Did you give it a go?
No, last time I gave it a go, it upset my stomach and I had to go and get a whiskey. So it would have cost you a whiskey if I'd had it. Very nice.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And did we try black pudding?
Yes, lovely.
Oh, very good. That's why she's 95, you know. She likes a bloody good black pudding.
No black pudding.
No black pudding. You didn't like the black pudding. Okay. Well, I served you the best. I went to Bury Market and I found the best black pudding that man makes. So, you know, I did try.
With mixed reviews from the diners and leftovers that tell their own story, I'm leaving the Rosalie with my tail between my legs. Black pudding is not going to be back on the menu here anytime soon. I've hit the road again to head to my next Great Northern Food Challenge.
I'm headed for the Manchester Ship Canal, which made the north, and it's the only way to travel.
My destination is Manchester and the new Smithfield Market in Openshaw. Every night when the people of the north are tucked up in bed, 1,000 tonnes of fruit and veg pass through its doors and out to the region's shops and restaurants. My challenge here is to work an 8-hour night shift packing and selling veg for the biggest wholesalers in the region. Then I've got to cook up a vegetarian Indian feast as an end-of-shift meal for 120 of my co-workers.
Now, you might be thinking, why am I doing a curry? Well, we are in Manchester, after all, and we do have the curry mile, and it is quite famous for curry around here.
Manchester caught the spice bug towards the end of the 70s, and there was an explosion of restaurants openings. Now, by the mid-80s, the curry mile was born. Now, curry is proper northern, and it's as much a part of life as football and music. After a match, or after throwing a few shapes in a club, you've got to top things off with an Indian. Before I cook my take on this northern favourite, it's time to get down to work. My gaffer is Tony Veg Howard, fruit and veg salesman supreme, and a man who's a bit partial to a veggie curry.
Hey, Tony!
Sean, how are you, mate? You okay?
Really good, thanks. Great to see you.
Nice to see you. I didn't think you'd make it.
Oh, well, I've not had much sleep.
Have you not really?
No, I tried, but no chance.
That's part of the hazard of this job, I'm afraid. We start in the middle of the night and we finish in the middle of the day. Do you know what we've got lined up for you?
Nope.
Well, I thought maybe we'd get you doing a little bit of the unloading, a little bit of setting up.
Do I have to?
You do indeed. We have to. We have to feed the nation.
The market's been feeding the nation for 170 years. Originally, it was based in the northern quarter of the city, and working at the old Smithfield was backbreaking. If it needed shifting, it was done by handcart. The new market might have lost the old world charm, but I've got a feeling it's still going to take a hefty dose of northern sweat to get through my shift.
At the moment, it's a little bit quiet. Now, when it starts at 12, it's going to be mayhem here. It's going to be absolute bedlam.
I believe so.
There'll be a lot of people, there'll be buzzing about, there'll be a lot of noise. I think you're in for a bit of a shock, actually.
A night shift here requires stamina and serious muscle. In a single night, Tony can shift 300 tonnes of fruit and veg, and he wants to show me just what it takes to feed the northwest.
Right, 15 of these?
15 of these. I'll put these in an 8 leg on here.
Right, OK. So, this market, Tony?
Yeah.
Has it always been like this?
It's not always been in this form. I mean, years and years ago, if you came down to the market, there was a lot of English trade and a lot of greengrocers. And when you were going through your high street, you'd have seen greengrocers everywhere.
Right.
But the rise of the supermarket has seen a lot of the old greengrocers off. So the market suffered a little bit of a demise because the supermarkets buy direct rather than buy off the likes of me. No. But as that happened, a lot of the Asian trade started coming into the market. They specialise in all the Asian vegetables, which is something that the supermarket can't compete with. And what I've found in my years on the market, I am now serving second and third generation Asian families who are all good friends of mine.
Are they?
And they pass the business down from father to son.
Do they?
The face of the market has changed beyond all recognition. Tony used to only speak Manc, but now he's added a new string to his linguistic bow. Urdu.
Sada tin pond.
14 side, tin pond, market.
It can get quite fraught. Watch this.
Sultana Chodangul.
Getting the language down has become an essential part of Tony's brand of customer service. Once negotiations are over, the stock will head out to a local shop at prices that will knock spots off your average supermarket.
I've brought a little bit of help for you today. What do you need on this pallet?
15 peaches on top of there.
15 pieces, 15 next. You've got 15 next on the bottom.
Yeah.
We don't want another few peaches on the top of there, please, Sean. Give us a little there, mate.
Yeah, Rodders.
Yeah.
Spanish peaches, now you're whistling Dixie.
It's not long before I'm into the swing of things, playing Del Boy to our Rodders.
Right, Rodders. We need 10 of those pineapples.
10 of those 8 pines we want.
What size are they, Rodders?
10s.
10s.
By 2 a.m, we're flying through the orders.
Pump up the volume!
But then the fruit hits the fan.
Drop some.
Steady. How many's in the box, Sean?
And then hits it again.
But we can't send those out. We can't send those out because...
All right!
Because they're bruised. Once they're bruised, they're bruised.
OK.
As punishment, Rodders and Tony swan about, clutching important pieces of paper, while I'm left doing the donkey work.
Come on, Sean!
I got it.
After all that manual labour, I earn myself a promotion, wrapping the orders for shipment.
These orders of ours, they go all over the northwest.
Around.
They could be going on it. You've got to pull it tight. Drop it down a bit, Sean. Drop it down a bit. You made a of this.
I haven't. I've touched it.
You made a rap.
Touched it.
Tony's not impressed with my efforts. While I'm proving decidedly cack-handed when it comes to plastic wrap, the rest of the team show me how it's done.
You've done it again.
I haven't.
You have.
All I did was get hold of that. I made a balls of You're losing your temper with me?
Not at all. You're still on your feet, aren't you?
I'm holding the top. I'm holding the bottom.
Don't get your hands there.
All right. All right.
I haven't managed to wrap one pallet yet, and they're already into double figures.
So how many of these are going to go out?
We'll probably send in excess of 500.
No way.
Yeah, 500
Wow.
pallets.
What,
Some of them
before 8 o'clock?
before 4 o'clock.
Before I bring the entire operation to a standstill, I step back to let the professionals do it. Instead, I move on to something I am good at, shopping. Time to source the veggies for the Indian feast I'm going to cook later.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, buddy. Sorry, dude. Yeah, it's like Clapham Junction, eh? Here we go. This is the one I want. It's 5:30 in the morning. Now, these boys, it's their tea time. I've got to put a load of vegetables into something, so curry is perfect, because a Manchester man is never far from a curry.
Meanwhile, it's not just fruit and veg that's on display this morning.
How are you, son? I'm all right, mate. Hey? Yeah! Very good.
I leave the boys to fulfil the morning's orders and head off to do some cooking.
We've got 120 parathas to make, 120 veg curries to make, 120 dal to make. We've got 120 rice to do, because we love a challenge and you know that.
Every good curry starts with a good base, and mine's no exception. Watch and learn.
Throw it all in, OK? I'll whack the top on and see what we can make out of that. Come on!
Us Brits may describe Indian food as curry, but the term isn't actually used on the subcontinent. There they use individual names that reflect the regional variations in each dish. Curry was a word coined during the time of the Raj, and was a corruption of the Tamil word curry, meaning sauce. History lesson over, time to get on with the cooking.
Look, nice smooth sauce. We're going to whack a load of water on it and it creates a nice creamy consistency.
Time's ticking away and the law of sod kicks in. The cookers stop working.
That rice has got to go on, end up.
I know.
You all right down there?
Yeah. Oh, got it.
Good lad. When the pressure's not on, everything works. Veg curry on. Now let's move across here now. I'm going to show you our dal okay, but I don't use a chana dal. Lots of people use a chana dal. I found what's called a tur dal, okay? It's quite oily, so it makes more of a soup, and I love that soupiness of it.
For me, dal is the perfect nutritious accompaniment to a veg curry. It's 25% protein and it's made from pigeon peas, which have been eaten across India for over 3,000 years, so they must be good.
Now, what you're going to do with a dal is zhuzh. You've got to zhuzh a dal, and this is how you do it.
Final step in the dal is the tarka, or flavouring. Basically, it's a mixture of spices fried in oil until they're sizzling and aromatic and folded through just before serving.
We've got a little surprise coming up for a starter, where we've got tinned chickpeas. We've got these lovely puris, which are like little puff balls, really, really crispy. And we have these two rather special sauces that I made before we came here last night. I think everyone's due in about 40 minutes. And if this doesn't cook, everything else is done. But if this doesn't cook, it's the curry. It's got to be right.
My last job is to tackle the parathas. Time to whip out my secret ingredient.
There's one hell of a moolie, OK? You'll always find them in Asian supermarkets. And what it is a kind of a radish flavour. So when it's grated, it's full of moisture. And all we're doing is squeezing it, and we get the lovely juices out, and we're using that instead of water. We're going to paint the parathas with butter, so it gives them a nice richness and it makes them lush. Are you hungry, boys? Yeah. Take one of these, go to the table. You've got a little starter on the table, OK? A little chef surprise. Yeah, boys.
First, the lads attack the starter.
Yeah, really nice. Yeah.
And then it's back for the main event. Veg curry, rice and stuffed paratha.
No, I've never had veg curry before, so it's nice to have a change.
Splendid, smashing, super, great.
I think I'll leave him to channel Jim Bowen. I want to find out what my main man Tony Veg thinks.
I'm not paying for this, have I?
Hey, yeah.
Need no, can my money back?
Thanks.
I think it's very, very good, actually. It's very aromatic. A lot of herbs and spices gone into it, haven't there?
You don't need meat to enjoy a curry.
You most certainly don't, David.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Marks out of 10, please, mate.
I'll give you 9 out of 10 because there's only John Christoph will get a 10 out of me.
Oh, it's like that, is it?
If the empty plates are anything to go by, my Asian banquet has been a hit.
Well, that's not the first time a curry's kept me up all night. And I'm boiling. Tony! Tony! Will you put the air conditioning on in my Winnebago?
Yes, I will, mate, yeah.
Hey, thank you.
I'm on the move again, leaving Lancashire and heading into Yorkshire. The Way of the Roses is a 171-mile coast-to-coast cycle route from Morecambe Bay to Bridlington, on the North Sea coast. I'm travelling the 77 miles from Lancaster to Ripon.
By car. As if I'd done it by bike.
Ripon is home to the Wilfred Tart, an apple and cheese pie that has been baked in the city since medieval times. But in the last decade, the famous tart has fallen out of favour. My challenge is to get the locals baking again by holding a competition to discover who makes the best one, them or me, with our efforts to be judged by the local dignitaries at the city's Wilfred Day celebrations. Ripon was founded by St Wilfrid over 1300 years ago. Legend has it that the good folk of the city loved him so much that when he returned from his travels, they left out pies on their windowsills. Every year they celebrate their Saint's Day by marching the man himself through the city centre. A ceremony that's changed little over the years.
Now, the custom began on Wilfred Day, which is now, the first week in August. Right, love? But I don't see any. I don't see any on the windowsills. Standards are slipping.
I'm heading to the market square.
Where's the Wilfred pies?
In a bid to outbake the locals.
People of Ripon, come and bake a Wilfred Tart if you think you're hard enough.
Believe it or not, rather than having me committed, the good people of Ripon are taking me up on my challenge. But before I get baking, I've got an appointment with one of the city's oldest residents.
I was born in Ripon in 1913.
1913?
Yes.
That makes you 98 years
Yes,
old. No way.
We always called him Daddy Wilfred.
Oh, did you?
Yes, yes. Not Sir Wilfred, Daddy Wilfred.
Well, that's a little bit more endearing, isn't it?
It is, yes, it is.
So when do you remember seeing your first Wilfred Tart?
I was 3.
3 years old?
years old.
Wow, amazing.
On everybody's windowsill, and people could come and help themselves.
Well.
Also, you could go in anyone's house and have a Wilfred Tart.
Enough talking, time to get baking.
Every Wilfred Tart starts with the making of a short crust pastry. Al fresco pastry making. Get this right, and I've won.
And it's not just me, there's frantic baking going on all over the city. The combination of apple and Wensleydale cheese used in a Wilfred Tart originated in Ripon and was unique to the area, but over time it became a popular dessert across Yorkshire.
Smells lush. They're all bringing the pies. Waste of time, of course. Absolute waste of time. Oh! Hiya. Who are you?
Tim.
Tim, you've been in that kitchen quite a lot, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've not caught the sun for a while.
No, been in every day.
This guy's got to be good.
The competition and the tarts look a bit tasty. But demand for them has fallen away over the last 30 years, as local baker Ken explains.
In 1983, we'd be producing about 250 Wilfred Tarts during the Wilfred celebration. And today it's dropped off to about 30.
But it's not just a reduction in the people buying them, the number of people baking them has fallen too.
When we came to Ripon, there'd be 6 bakers in town all producing Wilfred Tarts. And today we're the only baker left who produces on the premises.
Can you say hello? I won't bite you, no.
Now it's a mad dash to get it in a local baker's oven. "40 minutes later, and my tart is done."
What are we thinking? I think it looks pretty good, although it's going to be super duper hot. And I've got to get in this comb, and I need to...
My tart needs to be drastically cooled. So, it's time for drastic measures.
You got any aspirins?
OK, plan B.
Wonder if I can put it in your freezer. Yeah? What's your name?
Can.
Who?
Can.
Can?
Can.
Well, you certainly can.
Can.
Great, cheers. Cheers.
As mine chills, more of my adversaries' tarts arrive.
Look at those. Henry, did you make them? Well, thank you very much, Henry. Ladies and gentlemen, we already know the winner of the competition.
Then it's 98-year-old Kathleen's turn.
That's the original Wilfred Tart. Apple and Wensleydale cheese. Not Lancashire cheese,
No,
Yorkshire cheese.
I know that. But we all know Lancashire cheese is better, don't we?
Yeah.
No, we don't.
The esteemed judges are on their way. Time to find out if my tart comes out on top.
That's very nice. Telling you now, if it's on appearance, I'm looking pretty good.
This is a traditional tart, is how they used to be, actually.
As the mouthfuls go in, even young Henry's feeling the pressure.
It might get my 3rd place at the moment, but that would be as high as it would be. No, you can't bribe the judges at this late stage.
I'm not bribing anybody.
Ha! That's me told. And it's the moment of truth. My tart's up next.
Not quite sweet enough for me, that. I don't know how it's quite so hot, though.
Nice look here, the presentation is quite nice. The winners of the Wilfred Tart competition, in 3rd place is Peter Manser. In 2nd place, Tim Mitchell. And the winner in 1st place is Tony Ainsley with the entry here.
Oh, we've had to take it on the chin, haven't we?
And then finally we have a special award for effort, and that goes to Henry Coates.
Yay!
I was beaten by a better man. I might not have won, But every cloud has a silver lining. At least for one day, the people of Ripon were baking Wilfred tarts again and eating them.
Can't win them all. Still, it's been a good day. Onwards and upwards.
Next time, I go head to head with the champion pork pie maker.
Have you been making pies long?
15 years.
Oh, Jesus, I've got no chance.
Things get sticky in Cumbria.
He's not telling.
Mine's not made yet, and it's been in for 50 minutes.
And I take a pot shot at some posh Yorkshire birds.
There's nothing wrong with an old bird every now and again, eh?